Hello.
Hey.
Hi. Basically, we found out a name for our podcast. It's called the Double the Sprinkles podcast.
Yep, it sounds like a good name to me. Generally, it was hard to come up with something that correlated to both me and her.
I was, well, you were, never mind.
What?
I was gonna say when you were like, I don't know, we're like,
Good job.
I know, I'm good at things. Anyway, I'm Sparkles,
And I'm Double.
so we're Double the Sparkles.
Wow!
Perfect. Anyway, what are we doing today, Double?
We're gonna be talking about a little bit about ourselves and like around how we grew up and little details. That's not gonna be that much into it, but just a general thing.
Mm-hmm. So, do you want to go first, or should I go first?
I can definitely go first if that makes you feel okay.
Yeah, I'll just sit back and relax.
Okay, so let's go start with how when I was born.
Wait. The inspiration came from this, I just want to say, is because in my speech class, because I go to college, we basically had to do a who am I speech about ourselves, obviously. And I got inspired off of that because I was stressing out so hard because I was really nervous. He knows about this for a fact.
Yeah, I experienced it with her. The stress and the anxieties are real, people.
Yeah. And so I was really stressed out about it. But once I did it, I was like, yeah, I did fine. So I was like, hey, we should do a chilled out version of that for the podcast so you guys can get to know us better.
But yeah, I'm going to start with myself. As you want you to know, my name is Jesus. I was born June 14th, and I'm about 24 years old. I say about 24 because
And when you said 24, you looked at me and was like, am I 24?
yeah, because I tend not to remember my age, even though it should be something naturally coming to someone.
Yeah, I remember when I was in the soap shop and the guy asked me how old you were. I was like, I'm 20.
Yeah, it takes a minute for our brains to comprehend how old we are because I am an ancient brick.
No, you're not.
But yes, I was born a 7-pound baby, which to most people that's probably average for a size of a baby. There's more or less larger kids that are born.
Like me.
I was a C-section baby, so technically I was never born.
Nice.
Yeah, I really caused some damage to my mom. I am so sorry, mother. It was not my intention, and apparently during my birth, they expected me to be a soccer player, which, let's be honest, I am very far away from being athletic. I have the build of a potato.
You always call yourself Potato, too.
Yeah, I go by the nickname Potato because I am dark brown and round. So, I'm practically a potato. I grew up in Mesquite, Texas as around 2 years old because I actually was we moved when I was born. So we were originally in I want to say it was like a little bit between Houston and Dallas. I forget where it's at.
I mean, that's a long way.
Yeah, it was somewhere between those two. I don't remember because we moved when I was brand new. Just came out of the baby. Came out of my mom. I am so sorry. I didn't come out of a baby. That would have been some
Weird.
alien thingamajiggers.
Moving on.
Yeah. So, I mainly grew up around the Mesquite area. Had some problems with growing up because we weren't that rich, and a lot of complications with having a big brother, me, my mom, my dad, my grandma, and all of their family living in one house. Yes, I am Mexican. No, I'm not Mexican. I'm actually Hispanic, probably. Hispanic, Spanish. We're not 100% sure which one's more.
Do you want to do a 23andMe test to test your DNA?
Probably at some point. I think that would probably help sum up what I am. Because I'm pretty sure we're also part Asian, but we don't know what part Asian we are.
And I'm pretty sure I'm just white.
I think you have to be part something else because white isn't a culture.
Yeah. I know I'm a little bit German, but that's it.
And I have two brothers. So my older brother is obviously my older brother, and my younger brother is obviously my younger brother. Mind blowing, I know.
Yeah.
I would not like to give their names out because, well, I mean, I can give their first names out, but you're not gonna know what my last name is. That's not something you need to know right now.
Yeah.
My big brother's name is Michael, and my little brother's name is Joe. So out of all of us, I think Joe got off with the most American name.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Michael's pretty American.
Well, I mean, that's more Middle Easternish.
Yeah, still pretty common in the U.S.
Yeah, but Joe's like an unmistakable name for American.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be closer to say that his name is Jose, but his actual name is just Joe. Fun fact, though, his middle name is actually Angel, which he is obviously not. What else is there? We have two pets. There's going to be a dog, two dogs.
Are you just copying off of my little thing that I
Oh yeah,
wrote?
I'm going to move on to the next subject after each because we have a paper in front of us, as you can probably hear, and she written down some things that correlate to what she wants to talk about, and I'm just going to leech off of that because a lot of it can be worked around with me too.
Yeah.
It's some really good subjects, and it can go through whatever you want to do. Do you want to jump in at any moment so that you can cut in what you want to before I get too low into the thing?
I think I'll let you finish and then I'll go. I mean, I can put some commentary in the back like, hey!
I have two dogs. One is a blue heeler, and the other one I do not know. She's a mix. She has two different color eyes. One is gray, the other one's gray, I believe, or blue, dark,
Blue.
like light blue.
I like her eyes. They're pretty.
So yeah, so the blue heeler name is Surprising Blue, and we had him for about 3 years, but he's a little bit older than 3 years. We didn't get him when he was a pup. He was a rescue. Same thing with Cece. She was a rescue as well. They're kind of spoiled, but also kind of restricted because there's not many people at my house currently. So they're either outside or inside.
What do you mean not many people at your house?
Well, they're during the day.
Oh.
My grandma and Joe are there all day, but they don't take care of the dog.
How rude. Just kidding.
They feed them and let them out, but that's about it. They don't go outside and play with them. I don't have an opportunity to go outside and play with them, even though I should. But yeah, they're pretty happy. They're also spoiled. They have some of the... I bought them toys that are expensive, like a non-burstable ball, so they cannot destroy it. And I'm pretty sure they found a way because I haven't seen that sucker for a couple of days. But other than that, they're pretty happy dogs. I do want to get a lizard or something like that because I like reptiles and I also like rodents. I know, surprising. I'm a dude. But yeah, that's all good for right now. My mom lives with her fiance. They're still not married because my dad does not want to give up being married to my mom, even though he's been with probably 24 other women already by now.
Oh.
Yeah, he is a bachelor, but he refuses to give up. Just divorce my mom. Because if my mom divorces him, there's a lot of complications and all of that, and she really doesn't want to go with that right now. But yeah, my mom lives with her fiance. I live with my mom. I know I'm a little bit too old to be living with my mom, but
Did you say
getting
how
an
old you
apartment.
were?
Yeah.
24.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the beginning. I'm sorry.
Around 20 years old, you should be looking for your own apartments and stuff like that because you're an adult and you should be really moving on with your life. But that's not as easy as it used to be back when we were growing up. Back when we were growing up, you could probably live in an apartment off of the job of being a bagger from a grocery store. Now, if I'm anything lower than a CEO of a company, I can't afford a house. Yeah, so that's what we're currently working on right now too. Me and Rachel are trying to look for an apartment for ourselves so we can live and do our own thing for in life.
Mm-hmm. Although I'll get to that.
And I'd like to get into a little bit of thing right here is me and Rachel like doing art.
Mm-hmm.
She's obviously the more talented one.
No.
But I did used to do digital art when I was younger. I have some pictures that I would like to show, but I actually can't because this is a podcast.
Ooh. This is going on YouTube, so
you might just toss in a picture, one of my pictures, if I can find it, because it's digital, so it's like.
No, I was thinking let's do a separate podcast of us reacting to your old art or something.
Oh, okay. Actually, I would pull out my phone to show you some of them right now, but of course we're strapped for time, which is like we're only in 10-minute mark, 11-minute.
Yeah, this may be a little longer, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Did you just spit on my floor?
No, you see that?
Yes.
And that was part of the panini.
Oh yeah, we just had sandwiches, by the way.
I'm sorry, I'll clean it up later.
We're getting distracted.
Yeah. So yeah, I like art, and I did a lot of art when I was younger. Now I lost my talent, so most of what I do right now is working. Mm-hmm. I only have talent for getting up and doing work. But I would like to actually start doing my YouTube career of Animal Crossing videos and stuff like that, because I am a huge fan of Animal Crossing, and I grew up with it for most of my life. Ever since I started playing Animal Crossing, it was probably one of the most soothing things I've ever done. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other than that, that's about it for things that I plan on doing so far. What else should I start talking about? I mean, I have the paper in front of me, but
not much relates to you.
Yeah, other than that, I used to be really shy, though. I used to be really of a shy kid.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up to realize that I don't care what people think of me anymore. If I want to be a weirdo, I will be a weirdo. And I think I would love it. Of course, I found Rachel, so I'm also still weird. But I'm more open and more talkative than I used to be. And it's not really that hard to be. You just got to realize that there are people just like you that live in this world, and you just need to find them. A lot of them are looking for you as well. You just got to be able to be honest with yourself and say, yes, I am quite weird. I like stuffed animals, even though I'm a guy. And I do like working in with tools and stuff, because I am a guy. It shouldn't be that black and white anymore. It's 2019. You don't need to be scared anymore. There's people waiting for you around the corner.
Aww. That's sweet.
On to the next thing. Wait, what does that say? I went to high school?
Yes.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, weirdly enough, that actually is a good point to put out. I have been to high school and I have graduated. I graduated in 2013. Which blew away a lot of people because their expectation for me was very small because I stopped caring about school back in second grade. Even though I stopped caring about school, I didn't let my grades slip or anything. I had trouble with math, but I got over that. To the point where my teacher, who was like talking to my mom about me being very terrible at math, was very surprised when I got into an academy for something that had nothing to do with math anyways, because it was actually a school for humanities, which is mostly like talking and acting. If anything, I would have to be very thankful for going to school for humanities. It taught me how to break out of my shell and actually be a good person. I mean, I've always been a very nice guy. I have moments when I'm not that nice, but you have to really get underneath my skin and say things that you shouldn't say for me to really get mad. I'm really accepting of every person, no matter who they are, whether their religion is or faith, or if they're Democratic or Republican, because it doesn't matter what you are on the outside. It's about who you are on the inside. So I usually take everybody with a grain of salt. Rachel has a lot of salt, and it's funny.
I do.
She has a lot of salt for other reasons.
Yeah.
But other than that, I usually am open about people. I like to express that I am not a threat. I will never be a threat, but I can be if you make me mad enough. Which just correlates with which contradicts. Sorry, not correlates. What contradicts what I just said. Yeah, I am not threatening, but I can be threatening, like a rabbit if it's cornered. You know.
You're a rabbit.
I'm a rabbit. No, I'm a potato.
Yeah, you're a potato rabbit. I don't know. What else?
Middle school was probably like the worst time for me, actually. You know,
Is that middle school before high school?
I know we're talking about high school, but in the subject of schools, I would have to rank middle school as the worst. High school a close second, and then elementary probably was my most ignorant of anything. Because elementary school was pretty fun, you know. You get those moments where you're the teacher's pet. I was absolutely the teacher's pet. I'm not gonna lie about that. Teachers loved me. Everybody knew me by name. All the teachers were always on my side because they knew I wasn't a troublemaker. So if I did get in trouble, it was something that was surprising. I do remember I got in trouble for snapping my pencil in half because I got frustrated. And my teacher pulled me out of the classroom and took me to the principal's office. The principal was like, okay, he's fine. He just snapped his pencil. And they're like, but he's obviously a troublemaker. And they're like, no, he's not. We know this kid. He's allowed in the offices in the back with his mom. My mom was a teacher back then. She was an ESL teacher, which is English for second languages. If y'all didn't know about that. So yeah, I was like one of those kids that would go in and be teacher's pet. And I didn't care. I didn't mind it. And I would even have conversations along with having coffee with a lot of the teachers. Again, I like to remind you, I was an elementary school student. So I would, elementary school student, drinking coffee and talking to teachers at a mature level was something that was mind-boggling for most of them. Some of them even said that I had like the intelligence of a college student when it came to noticing patterns and working out speeches. Wow. Again, even at a young age, I was really good at talking to people, but my downfall was I was still shy because people hated me.
Relatable.
Yeah, a lot of teachers loved me, and they still do. I go up to my mom's old school, and a lot of them remember who exactly I am. But I could say that I remember none of the students there. I don't talk to anybody. I think I only remember one girl, and it's because she had a very unique name. It was like Irissa, I believe. I think that was the only name I remembered because it was such a weird ass name. And I'm sorry to any Urissas listening to this. I am so sorry. I'm not saying your name is horrible. I'm just saying the fact that in elementary school.
Your name is unique.
Yeah, your name is very unique, and it's not something you should be ashamed about. I just found it very weird out of nowhere. So I learned that a lot of parents name their children some very unique names, like there's a guy at the McDonald's that we go to a lot. His name is Raptor. Yep. He's illiterate. His name is Raptor, and he's the freaking friendliest guy I've ever met. He's ignorant to a lot of things, but sometimes ignorance is bliss. He's not a bad person. He's really nice, and he does his job very well. He just can't read. And granted, again, his name is Raptor, so I don't know how that correlates to his name at all. I'm saying the word correlates.
Yeah.
That's our word of the day, people.
Yeah. Okay, anything else?
Not really. I think I took about 20 minutes of discussing my own half. How about you start with yours?
Then, is there anything else after high school that you want to talk about?
Well, most of the things could be summed up now because after high school I met Rachel. 3 years after.
What did you do in between those 3 years?
um, Mostly depressed.
Aw.
I'm not gonna lie about that. I was really a depressing child. I lived mostly in my room by myself. I hardly would ever go out of my room. And if you were to ask my parents, they were like, "Yeah, he practically lived in there." It was my man cave, and they wouldn't see me for about 3 days straight because I would just stay in my room. I didn't work. I didn't do anything. And thinking about it now, I feel absolutely useless back then. But now I feel like I'm doing my best I can right now, and I'm really striving forward with that. Anyways, how about you? You want to start with your stuff? Gotta move that microphone closer to you.
Moving the mic. Okay. Like Jesus started, I was born. Do you remember? My mom told you how much I weighed when I was born. I forgot. I think
I don't remember. I think she said you're a pretty large baby.
Yeah, I was heavier than him. I think my mom said I was like 8 or 9 pounds when Jesus was 7. So I feel a little big, but that's okay. After that, I grew up a little bit. One story that I remember, my dad told me one time that when I was little, I was out in the backyard because I like playing in the backyard. I was playing in the backyard, and he told me that I was playing with a fly spider, and he saw me playing with it, and he was like, "Don't do that. Don't be stupid." And I didn't listen to him, and I just kept playing with it, and then it bit me, and then I was like, ah. Lesson learned: don't play with fly spiders, and do what your parents tell you. Okay. Another thing, I don't have siblings. I never had any siblings. I'm an only child. It's kind of lonely, but it's fine. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, generally, a lot of people would say that they wouldn't like having like brothers and sisters, but then you start remembering that you're growing up by yourself and you have more eyes on you than you probably like. So it's harder to get away with things if you're, trying to get away with things.
Although I wasn't trying to get away with anything back then.
I like to like y'all know I'm the middle child. So the middle child is the one that's usually ignored. All my middle children out there, y'all know what I mean.
Shout out.
And where are my middle children at? Yeah, so growing up as a middle child is like really stressful because you actually have the opposite. You don't have many people acknowledging you, and it's really it's more of a struggle to get attention. I didn't really care too much because, of course, I was always a loner. So being by myself was actually kind of a blessing.
Yeah. And next on my list, I have dogs. I have 2 dogs. Excuse that. I have 2 dogs. I have a golden retriever named Elvis. He is 12 years old. He is an old dog, but he's a handsome boy. He's the best boy ever. And I also have a border collie. Her name is Elsie. And she is about 2, I think. She's pretty young. But yeah, I love them both, even though Elsie is annoying some of the time, but that's fine. What you doing?
I'm just looking around.
Okay. Jesus is standing up. And next on my list, my parents were good.
My parents were good.
Yeah.
Good job.
I know. And next, I liked art. Although before elementary school and in elementary school, I didn't know you could do anything other than drawing and pottery, and I wasn't good at either. I
would say you're pretty good at pottery.
In elementary school.
Okay.
Did you see my piece I made? Then again, I don't think anyone is good at it. No, wait. There was like this one star student that made like a bowl. It had like a dog face and paws on it. I thought it was really, really cute, and I wanted it, but I don't know. And then, like Jesus said, I am shy. I was shy and still am. I would argue in elementary to high school I was the most shy. I've kind of come out of my shell a little bit because excuse me. I'm coming out of my shell a little bit because of Jesus and also working a little bit in not customer service, like as cashiers and everything where you need to converse. And yeah, that was fun. Next on my list, I was sad. Basically, a little mini story time in between my life story so far. I was in elementary school and I was heading to a Girl Scout meeting, and we had gotten our yearbooks at this point, and a boy I had a crush on, there was this picture of him in the yearbook. He was like eating cake or something, and he had frosting on his face, and I was like, haha, that's cute. So I went up to my friends who were walking in the hallway, and to be fair, I was probably being annoying and being like, hey, look at this guy. And they turned to me and they were like, oh, he's so gross, no way he's ever gonna get with you. So that really made me sad, to the point where when I went to my Girl Scout meeting, I sat under the table for the whole meeting and no one besides my mom came up and said, "Are you okay?"
Excuse me, they said that, ew, he's so gross that he would never go out with you?
Yeah.
Isn't that a compliment? It's okay. I understand your mindset because you're young.
Yeah. It was either he won't go out with you or you'll never go out with him or something like that. But I liked him.
Should I smother a word? Should I smash some cake in my face?
No.
Okay.
Maybe. You can if you want.
Okay.
We don't have cake. Anyway, continuing, as I just mentioned, I was a Girl Scout. I was recruited as a Girl Scout, I guess you would say, in about 3rd or 4th grade, I think. Yeah, 3rd or 4th grade, and I continued Girl Scouts until I was a senior in high school. I graduated a Girl Scout, which I am very happy about. To the point where, I don't think I told you this, but I vowed to myself that if I ever see Girl Scouts selling cookies, I have to buy at least 1 box.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
I was a Boy Scout when I was younger, so I understand the thing when it comes to that.
Yeah. And next on my list, I went to middle school, which was my least favorite, as Jesus already said, because I was awkward and terrible.
Yeah, in general, middle school is usually everybody's worst part of their growing up.
Yeah. Another mini story time. Basically, there was a dance or something coming up, and I wanted to be all cute and stuff. So I went into a store, and now realizing what the store was, it was a lingerie store.
Oh wow! And you said you want to be cute. I didn't understand that part.
Yeah. Basically, in middle school, I wanted all the boys to notice me, but they didn't.
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
But yeah, I went into this store and I bought a strapless sweetheart top that was like a corset thing. It was strapless and it had like a sweetheart. It was hot pink and it had like a black lace strip around the middle of it. And one day I decided I don't have any clothes to wear. This will be perfect.
Oh gosh.
So I wore a black tank top under it and the hot pink top. Not thinking to wear a jacket over it or anything so no one would see. So right when I walked in the door, the vice principal who was like in the doorway, he was like, "Hey, that's cute, but why are you wearing that?" So I was like, So he sent me to the nurses where he made me call my mom and she had to come bring me an extra shirt. And that was embarrassing.
It's not too embarrassing. I mean, for you, I guess that would be embarrassing, but feeling good about yourself should never be embarrassing. You should be able to be confident about yourself and be able to wear absolutely anything, even if people think that it doesn't look right.
Even if it's breaking the dress code.
The fact that they had a dress code was very a sore spot for me as well.
Why?
Because for my whole life, I went to a public school.
Mm-hmm. I did too.
So depending on where you grew up, I grew up in Mesquite, so they had rules for dress code, and we wore uniforms.
Ew.
Ever since elementary, and because of that, most of my shirts that I wear were colored, colored and single color, with khaki or black pants. So I never really grew up experiencing wearing different clothing and all of that with your friends because one, I never had friends. Two, it was against the school code, dress code. So yeah, I understand when you're trying to look great for people, it's a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah. Also, in middle school, everyone's awkward and stupid.
Oh yeah.
Just kidding. And by this point, I learned to sew. Might I mention badly sew, because I learned about sewing and stuff, and I was bad at it. That's good. That's great.
A fun fact about me, though. I'm sorry, I keep on butting into your time.
It's okay. I butted into your time too.
When I was in elementary school, I first joined the basketball team because I was actually I am actually good at basketball. Not anymore, but used to be.
Sorry to interrupt. My dad interrupted us.
It's not a problem. It's really not. Where was I?
You were talking about basketball, but I wanted to mention first that in middle school also I was trying to be that person that was like, oh, I'm good at sports. So I tried out for like swimming and basketball and all that stuff, but I wasn't good at it.
I'm not good at sports either, obviously. I mean, I was good at basketball at the time, but I never actually went to basketball meetings or any practice because as soon as I joined basketball, I found out that they had a sewing club. A little bit more into my personality, I am very open about liking girl stuff a lot. I say that girl stuff now because back then it was considered girly. But now everybody does it, and it makes me feel okay.
Yeah. Another thing about basketball. Most people don't. I don't think you would know this, but by listening to my voice, but I am 5'11", so I'm pretty tall for a girl. And how tall are you?
I'm 5'3". I'm pretty short for a dude.
Yeah. People always ask me, "Do you play basketball?" And I'm like, "No."
And people never ask me about basketball. They always ask me about soccer. I don't play soccer. But I do remember a moment when I was outside playing in elementary school. I took a soccer ball straight to the head.
Ooh.
And it bounced right back into a goal. People thought I was like knocked out or something, but they noticed I was still standing. And they're like, how did you just take that ball to the face and not even move an inch? I'm like, I don't know. It didn't hurt.
Oh, that reminds me. By the way, some of the stories I'm telling I already put on my YouTube channel under like elementary school stories, middle school and high school stories. But I remember, speaking of soccer, in elementary school, going back in time, elementary school, basically that same guy that had the picture in the yearbook with the cake and whatever, I still had a crush on him in 5th grade, I think. And basically, during recess, we would have the option of going out in the soccer field and playing soccer. So I was on the soccer field, and I always wanted to be goalie because I couldn't run to save my life because I was out of shape and terrible.
But yeah, sewing club.
I'm not done yet.
The reason why we even brought up all this because you're just talking about sewing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to mention that yes, I was part of the sewing club and I really loved it. I learned how to do all that, but now I forgot it. So no, go back into your story. I'm sorry for interrupting.
It's okay. Anyway, basically, the nets we would use for the soccer field, they were all torn up and tattered, and they were terrible. So when this guy that I liked was playing soccer, I would purposely like tangle myself in the net to try and get him to save me.
You're freaking adorable.
No, I'm not. That's cringe.
Yeah, it's not cringe. It's adorable.
And
like, save me.
Anyway, that was a dumb story, but again, fast forward to middle school again. In addition to being in Girl Scouts, again, trying to play sports and stuff, I was in band. I played bassoon. That was fun.
I keep on interrupting you, and I'm so sorry, but some of the things you're bringing up is things that are also something I can talk about. I've played instruments as well.
Mm-hmm.
In elementary school, I played the French horn, which no one knew what a French horn was until I got it. I tried to play that, but my dad always told me to stop playing.
Why?
Because he said that he didn't want to hear it. So I didn't get much practice, but I was pretty good at it. It's not really that hard. You just blow air into an instrument and you make noise.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more to that. I'm sorry. I'm not insulting anybody who's played instruments.
No.
In middle school, I played trumpet, and I played with a saxophone that my ex-girlfriend was playing. Of course, it didn't last. And then in high school, I attempted to play drums, but I didn't really care much, and I was actually more of a recluse in high school.
Okay. Sorry. It's okay. Moving on to high school. I don't know if I got to high school, but I got to high school. And by this point, I was still in band, still in Girl Scouts. I kind of dropped the sports thing because I was in band now. And by now, I had graduated from just playing bassoon to playing in the front ensemble during marching season, because I didn't want to pick up a clarinet or a saxophone to walk on the field when I played bassoon, because I thought it would be fun to try percussion, and I loved it. That was fun. I was playing like xylophone and the synthesizer. Excuse me. By this point, I had a good time. Oh yeah. In my first year, basically. No, it was my second year. Basically, everyone wanted me to make headbands because I think one day I showed up with, like fabric paint. You can make your own designs on fabric, on a shirt. Don't know if you can hear that, but basically I put my own design on a t-shirt with fabric paint. It said free hugs, and I think it was a tornado or a cactus or something, because I saw it online and I thought it was cool. But I showed up one day and everyone was like, "Whoa, that's awesome! Can you make us something like that?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" What are you doing? Jesus is doing a magic trick. Anyway, I showed up and everyone was like, "Whoa, can you make headbands for us?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" So I made headbands, and that was fun. Little detail. Jesus just brought them to me to remind me of them, and I like them. Anyway, what happened next? By high school, I had made a few friends, but I don't think most of them cared about me. I did have one friend who cared about me, however, my best friend, Rachel. We met in middle school in band, and at first she was kind of annoying. Sorry, Rachel, if you're listening. But throughout time, we eventually got along way better, and we are best friends now to this day. What is that? Oh yeah, it was like a sock bunny or something. Jesus is just walking around the room looking at stuff. Because I reorganized everything. And by this all the time, and also in high school, I started taking more art classes because I learned that you can make more than just pottery and draw. So I took a sculpture class because I preferred making pottery over drawing because I wasn't good at drawing. I'm still not the best now, but I've improved. But basically, in my sophomore year, I joined my favorite art teacher's class, my soon-to-be favorite art teacher's class, Mr. Seidel. He was my favorite because he allowed us to do whatever, to make whatever he wanted. He inspired me. He was a fun guy. You've met him before. Are you okay?
Yeah. I remember him. We're at your high school's performance,
Mhm.
and you introduced me to him.
Mhm.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he liked him. Anyway, I was making sculptures all the time. Jesus just picked up the chair and is scaring me.
I didn't do anything. I'm just holding the chair.
Why?
Because I can hold the chair.
Okay.
I'm ADD, so I tend to get bored of just sitting down.
You're distracting me.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. Anyway, I was making sculptures until I graduated. Excuse me, there is someone calling me. I don't know who it is.
Stranger danger.
Yeah. And by this time I graduated. And I was feeling sad. Because I didn't have any friends, because we kind of lost contact after high school, except Rachel. But she moved to Arizona. So, yeah.
I like to mention that you have to remember your high school friends are never going to be your permanent friends. They're usually going to move away, and you're not going to really talk to them outside of school anyways.
Yeah.
So don't always get depressed if you never meet someone outside of your school anymore, because you're going to meet people that you're going to spend a lot more time with.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're working or you're going to be like just meeting them and talking to them a bit. So never be upset about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's understandable though.
Yeah. But after I was feeling sad, I was scrolling through YouTube one day and I found a video from Delightful. And this was my introduction into doll customizing, which I eventually created my channel around.
Even though most of it nowadays is about vlogs.
My other channel. Excuse me. Anyway, I learned about doll customizing, and then recently, like last year, I learned about soap making, and just today we went to a he's just going to the restaurant. Cut that out.
Hey, you don't need.
Sorry. By this time I learned about soap making, and we actually went to a soap shop today, and we learned about more about soap making and stuff like that. So that was fun. And by this point I was enrolled in college because I could, and also my parents kind of made me, but let's not talk about that too much. But yeah. And I kind of got more sad. But I'm trying. And before that point, I actually met Jesus. And he is my favorite person ever. I love him so much. He's my everything. So, yeah. What do I plan to do in the future? I'll ask Jesus when he gets back. But my plan for the future is to graduate with my Associate of Arts degree, which I'm working on right now. I want to do more art things. I want to try Twitch streaming, more YouTube stuff. I want to do my best. So yeah, I'm gonna take a quick pause before when Jesus gets back. So we'll see. Okay, Jesus is back, and I didn't tell him yet, but basically I ended off by saying like what I had planned for the future. So I want to hear your plans, even though I think I know some already.
What do you mean by the plans of the future?
Like, do you want to just go with the flow, or like, do you have any plans for anything? Like, what you want to do?
For like the podcast, or for our own futures?
Our own future, like what you want to do. It's about you.
Oh, for my future, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to end up living with Rachel for a very long time, and by a very long time, I mean until I die. Which could be sooner or later, depending on how the world is.
Oh.
Yeah, we're planning on getting an apartment at some point, living on our own, experiencing the world a bit, maybe doing some traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely we're going to keep up with podcasts and stuff like that. Even if we're on the road, I would like to actually, continue on making podcasts and, just talking about what we want to talk about.
Any plans for your, like, career or anything?
That's still up on the board. What I do want to do is be a blacksmith, which is not that much of a realistic goal. Let's be honest, it's not like I'm going to become a blacksmith overnight or anything. And it might even take years of dedication and commitment. But I do plan on becoming something.
Aw,
How about you, Rachel?
I already told them.
Oh yeah, you did, right. And anything other than that, I just I plan to do as much as I can.
Aw. Is that it for our podcast?
That's about wraps it up for right now.
We've gone on for 45 minutes.
Yeah, this is a 45-minute long podcast. I am very grateful if you stuck all the way through it, even
Yeah.
with our delays and our cuts.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thank you for listening. If
And
you have
watching, whatever.
yeah, for the next one, what might be in a couple of weeks or so after we post this one, or this might even be a backlog. So we might get some from even months later.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we plan on the next one doing some topics from a bucket. That I say bucket, but it's actually a mailbox. We will explain later on.
Yeah. Okay, so do you want to outro off? What's our outro?
I don't know. What would it be our outro?
Bye.
Bye, I guess. Later, dudes.
We'll see you later. Have a good time.
Always eat your vegetables and wipe your bum.
Okay. Have fun and don't die.